Okay, so I wanted a way to assemble that had more control than the way I was taught. And I was taught mainly with hammering parts together. And inevitably, when you hammer parts together, something's going to break. And it's just a waste. I saw a rocker student assemble a front panel, 2 legs, 2 turned legs, 2 rungs, hammer it all together, the whole thing, took it over to the sink to get the glue off, and only then did he realize that he had busted through 3 out of the 4 tenons, out of the 4 mortises were busted. What a waste. I mean,
Yeah.
Those are really, you're using premium stuff. You've already done the work. It would have been so easy to do it this way. So when we were assembling a, let's say, a front panel, like I'm going to do, we'd have 2 L-shaped clamp pads, one on either side, and just setting on top of these clamps. And when you brought them together, the clamp pads tend to rise in the center. So that was one issue. If you did use clamps, we did use clamps sometimes, but sometimes we just hammered. And then the other thing was that because most of these parts have some kind of angle to them, and you use clamp pads, the clamps never had 100% 90-degree purchase on the clamp pad, because pads would be at an angle and the clamps would be at 90 and the clamps. So you never had really good contact between, often you didn't have really good contact between the clamps and the clamp pads. So I came up with this system. This is version 4 of this jig, and we have wedges. So this wedge and this wedge. This is the angle of a post and rung side chair. The angle, I think they're about the same actually, I'm not sure. But anyway, the parts, the wedges are the same angle as the assembled part.
Display in this case.
Display of the front legs.
Okay.
Or in this case, they may be very close and not exact. And then so the legs or the rungs get full 90-degree contact with the wedges, and the clamps always have 90-degree contact with the clamp pads. So it works really nicely.